Pleasant good day, good evening to each and everyone in Georgetown, Guyana, the diaspora, and elsewhere. Friends all, I would like you to subscribe to the channel and press the bell so you will get the next updated video. Sometimes I want to know if my message is getting on deaf ears, especially when I'm talking about Georgetown, Guyana. But before I continue, let me send my condolence out to the family and friends and associates of the pilot of the helicopter and all others who lost their life. I was made to understand only two survived and the others died and the chopper was in flames. Well, I don't think we should run to judgment and blame Venezuela for that. But in the other hand, we can look at it in this way. Could it be that the chopper was shot down? And must be honest, if that was not the problem that started on that border of Venezuela, maybe these gentlemen would have still been alive today. We can turn it and twist it. It's a tragedy. But again, could it have been that the gentlemen them who lost their life happens to be the sacrifice lamb to bring about a truce and peace into the country? Only God knows. I got a call this morning, 3 o'clock, and I'm fishing around to know, and the people who call me from the bordering country that they have the dispute with. I am very sorry that I did not record the message. Stated that everyone in the chopper was dead. Today, I was made to understand that a few died and 2 survived. But whether we like what happened or not, these are human. These are people who went there to overlook the border or whatever. And some people said to me on telephone conversation, they wish if Barret Jagdi or Ali and others was in the chopper. But I think that they may have a personal problem with these names. They talk about Mr. Norton. They talk about Joseph Harmon. Ladies and gentlemen, whether you hate people for what they've done to you, if they do it, you are not the one must decide who lived and who died. Because justice must prevail. No man in the GDF happens to be an angel, nor even the Guyana Police Force. And no one in the government happens to be an angel. And I always keep saying, you the civil servant, learn from that. I have done a video, the one before this one, where I stated a lot of young black police and military or young black boys will be killed if entering the border to fight Venezuela. And I have done a lot of studies into it by walking into Venezuela, mixing with the Guyanese, and hearing from the gold mine people. When a nation cannot trust each other and divided, your enemy got the upper hand to walk through because none of you will be ready for them. And the Indian society, the Indian race, I'm not talking about the opportunists who are in parliament and who are exploiting y'all to keep you down and deny you justice. I'm talking about the ordinary man and woman on the street. And I was tired up to today. Many telephone calls from Guyana to Venezuela, from Canada to America. Some people curse me out. Right away, don't shut your mouth. And these are from Indian descendants, my friend. Why you don't shut your mouth? Let the black man them dead. They do a big bad thing. Friends, I quite agree that they do a lot of wrong, but you can't blame the whole nation, the whole set of people, for a few fools who was misled and paid to do the nasty work by your own Indian family, friends, or neighbors, or those in government. Blame yourself, because not only that you blame all, you must accept your fault. You are the descendant of India. You are not a bloody Indian if you were born in Guyana. You are a Guyanese. But when you're claiming day of arrival, all your name is circulating in Indians, Partab, Sita, Parmati, or whatever. And then the language and your culture. Now, you might say that that's your culture. No. Guyana, as a Guyanese, have a different culture. It's not the African descendant who came from Ghana. I didn't see them bring that culture. And I don't see them bring their name. Because you have to dress to suit in a society or a nation that you're born in. But if you want to live in a country and still supporting China and call yourself Chinese, Saudi Arabia, India, or Africa, then you have a problem of the country. You are not who you claim to be. That is why I am very hard on the emancipators and the arrival. You are not Guyanese. And I want to address you, the Indian. I understand how you feel. But I am a victim, and my son a victim of our Indian people. So must we blame all of them? No. I call a few names. Ali at Latri Bagastone, Mohan at Canaan, Eminem who started rolling many years ago, and a man in Sheriff Street who tried to humiliate and insult me when I was going in his business place with the present voice of your parliament, Speaker of the House Manzoor, when he said, don't make that man come in, but let that Indian know. I have been to 87 major countries and islands. What he got there, he either inherited by false pretense or some illegal activity. I'm not blaming, I'm just assuming. But anything that I got or what, it was from the sweat and the blessing of God Almighty. But you Indian, you're very vindictive, very covetous, very spiteful, very ungrateful, and very corrupt. It is your nature. You cannot help that unless you adopt another principle. You, the rich and educated, you humiliate your own. You talk so bad about them. You call them all kind of names because you believe that you have money or you're educated and you're better than them. How could you feel that when you are doing that to them, they have to defend you for you to live nice, and insult them the next day? It does not work. They have feeling, and that's your Indian race for you. While on the black side, you fight each other, you humiliate each other, but then when it is over, it is just like a vision or a dream. You don't hold it against each other. You may not speak for a few days. Because I grew up in Guyana, and I hear the insult from the intelligent Indians and the wealthy ones towards their own. I heard the humiliation and the embarrassment and the insult you put them through. While the blacks, on the other hand, may have a 2-minute argument, but still they will be there at your door in case of an emergency or a problem. They don't hold malice. They just misled because of economics, and quick to get in for confrontation, like I hire criminals to kill, beat, lie, and even imprison you from the courthouse right back from the police, prosecutor, magistrate, or judge. Friends, you could say what you like, but you black people, a lot of you do us bad, but we left you in God, like the woman up in Hogle on the East Coast. I pardon her, but let God, our hands won't touch you. None of you. God will deal with you. Now, we have been a problem with our neighboring country, Venezuela, who have 120,000 or 21,000 Guyanese family, give and take. With 30 to 40,000 in military, police force, and hospital, and teachers speak fluent Spanish. They don't want to hear anything about Guyana. Many insult me, but a few speak properly, and they say what the blacks have done to them in the 60s and 70s. One thing with Indians, you all love to pass it down. And one thing with the black people, you act without thinking, and that is the defeat of the country. I warn all of you, you were born in Guyana. The Indians rent out the indentured slaves. They were slaves. They called them laborers for a small penny. When the contract over, they could have returned to India. Some went back. But you blacks, you hate the European as the white man. You hate the Chinese man. You hate the Indian man. You hate the Portuguese. Now, this don't go to everybody, but it happens. I remember under the David Granger administration,